meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for reviewing our presentation on social influence. Use it for good, not evil. We wanted to take a quick minute to thank Source and Brooks Library. Our blood, sweat, and tears went into this presentation, which is pretty common when you're in grad school. Wanted you to meet our team, runs on caffeine. In a minute, I'm going to introduce all of us, but this time we were able to work with Dr. Robert Perkins during winter quarter 2022 in our organizational dynamics course. This is how we met and became a team and worked on this particular presentation and research. Throughout the quarter, our team worked together, and not only did we learn about social influence, learned about different power styles, we actually did that work while we were creating our team. And then we are currently living it while working in our different jobs, different programs at school. So it really follows along the example of the approach to student learning that CWU has of learn, do, live. So meet the team today. They'll be presenting. My name is Angela, and I'm in the Masters of Higher Ed program, along with my cohort, Ilham and Ashley. So we have Angela Kyle, Ilham Dakane, and Ashley Smith that will be presenting today, and each of us will be taking part in presenting different slides on our presentation. So quickly, I wanted to talk to you about what is social influence. Social influence is, as you can see on our presentation slide, a powerful tool in group settings. You definitely want to use it properly. Social, meaning groups and communities. Influence, meaning power and authority. So as you can see, put those things together, a very powerful tool. Powerful because it has the ability to change behaviors, attitudes, and more. An example could be between an employee and a supervisor, or a student and a professor. Social influence can also includes conformity, conversion, and obedience. These are the three main sources of social influence by Levi and Askey. Conformity is your target behavior, that peer pressure, for example. Conversion is, for example, minorities and groups stick to their positions, no change, and they can convert others in groups to follow what they want you to follow. And obedience is a believed authority. Our research shows the best practices in social influence are acting assertively, mindfulness, and empowerment.
Great, hello, my name is Ashley, my pronouns are she, her, and I'll be discussing being mindful as a practice in social influence. Being mindful when it comes to social influence is to be aware of how your actions can influence those around you. The practice of being mindful is one that I find to be a great best practice in using social influence for good. When we look at social influence versus social psychology, there's a clear link between the two. As Levi and Askey define, social influence is the ability to change behaviors, attitudes, and thoughts of others. Social psychology is basically the study of this. These two areas are linked in such a way that you cannot have one without the other. One particularly interesting influence strategy is the disrupt then reframe strategy, or DTR strategy. Spaldini and Goldstein described the disrupt then reframe influence strategy coined by Davis and Knowles in 1999 as one that can be easily used for personal gain and can likely result in the user getting what they want. This theory is a great example of how not to use social influence. It's a compliance technique that can be viewed as sneaky and manipulative. Think of the last advertisement for a high-end product you saw. Did the ad run with language such as only 34 payments at $29.99 a month, making you think it was a good deal? Did you quickly try to do the math in your head on how much the product costs? Or did you immediately think, yeah, that sounds like a good deal, $30 a month? Okay, I can afford that. In reality, that's over $1,000 total. Disrupting the thought process on what the item truly costs, reframing the way the price is described, that can trick just about anyone, especially if they're on the spot. Now consider how this technique can be used in other social interactions, at your workplace even. Strategies such as this one are ones to be aware of, be mindful of, and understand how impactful they can be on others. This is a technique that shouldn't be used lightly. This example of the disrupt then reframe influence strategy can help us better understand how social influence can be used for nefarious purposes and help us gain a better understanding of how to avoid such strategies and the goal of using social influence for good rather than evil.
Hello, my name is Ilham Dakane, and organizational support theory encloses the basic process of social influence. It suggests that employee develops a generalized perception regarding the extent to which the organization values their contribution and care, and about their well-being. The theory proposes that treatment offered by organizations regarding fairness, job conditions, and supervisory relationship shows how much the organization values the employee's contribution and well-being. The theory examines the employee-organizational relationship from employee's point of view. Strong organizational support is associated with effective commitment, job satisfactory, increased desire to help organizations succeed. In the next slide, as a team, we picked empowerment as a second best practice because it helps reconstruct power and control from managers to employees. As we all know, people with high power like to stay in power because they don't want to share power with their employees. Therefore, team empowerment enables a delegation of authority. We need to empower employees to evade apathetic workers who are disengaged from their work, which causes high turnover and low performance. We need to create innovative ways to empower and allow creativity and open communication in the workforce. Ways we can empower our employees are by allowing information sharing, giving them access to vital information that will help them make decisions. And in the long run, some of the benefits of empowerment are that employees will feel motivated, they will have increased sense of responsibility, control, and confidence, and they will be more engaged in the work that they do.
So speaking of empowerment, it was during winter quarter that Central Washington University's Women in Business Conference was held. And I was able to hear Danielle Mercray talk a little bit about acting assertively. She stated that the assertive power style is a recommended style over an aggressive power style. So there are three main power styles: assertive, aggressive, and passive aggressive. Ashley, Ilham, and myself worked together and formed a group. And during one of our portions of the program, we acted out these three different power styles. It took a lot of extra work and thought to work on a passive aggressive style, and it was a struggle to do an aggressive power style. We all found and came to the conclusion that acting assertively was the most ideal and best practice. Group development stage theory is one of the theories that we researched this quarter. This is the steps and the time for groups to develop. This is your forming, storming, norming, and performing different stages. This is highly important because this is when you are, for example, in the forming stage, forming those relationships and can start using those different power styles to influence others. Storming stage is a time for growth. Imagine using your social influence during that time period. You could really make some different changes in the group's overall way that they're acting. Norming is really when the rules are established. And then, of course, the performing stage. As I mentioned before, so CWU, that Learn, Do, Live approach, Dr. Perkins really worked with us because we formed this group and we went through all of those different stage theories of forming, storming, and norming. And currently you're seeing us in our performing stage.
All right, after the research that we compiled of the course's project, we concluded the assertive power style is the best practice when thinking about how to use social influence. When you leave our session today, we hope you take these ideas with you in your workplace, classroom, group project, meetings, collaborations with others, wherever you find yourself in a team. You have the advantage today by learning how to use social influence for good. When you take on an assertive power style, you're not being aggressive. You're speaking directly, expressing your opinions, and can gain the respect from team members or colleagues, all the while gaining self-confidence along the way. It can be difficult to separate assertiveness from aggressiveness in our minds, but when done, you'll find yourself glad that you did. One item we'd like to highlight in our final moments with you is the importance of assertiveness, specifically for women. As a group of women coming to the conclusion that this was the best power style to use, it was a bit shocking. Culture and Western media tell us to be quiet, not take up space, and to be submissive. We hope that you've learned, as we have, that this is a great power style to use in any team setting. If you would like any more information about what we discussed today, let us know. And thank you for joining our presentation on social influence for how to use it for good rather than evil. We hope you were able to shed some light on this topic and you take away some helpful notes from our discussion. Thank you all.